Crew lock bag. The crew lock bag.
Diver TC, how do you read me?
Line and clear, TC. How me?
You're all good. Give us a go whenever you're ready to start.
Roger that. Okay, TC. This is Diver. I'm ready for your call.
Sure, Diver. We're going to start with the volcanic-looking rock in the middle, because I've heard that's the most brittle. Yeah, that one right there.
Roger that.
First things first, move the handle into that down position by the trigger. Yeah, you got it.
Handles down.
Now flick the toggle switch to the opposite direction of that arrow.
It is switched.
Alright, now crank however you find best. I like to grab that foregrip in front of the trigger and crank towards the top in quarter circle motions, but you do whatever. Once you feel substantial resistance, tool should be loaded.
I feel substantial resistance.
Turn the sample box. There you go. Now, maybe push the sample box outward so it's at an angle from the tool. Now push the tool into the rock at a substantial angle so that the bit comes out the front.
Okay.
Go ahead and press the front of the tool all the way down to the rock. Fire whenever you're ready. Switch the toggle switch.
Toggle switch is switched.
Fire whenever you're ready.
Roger that. Lifting up the trigger guard. And firing in 3, 2, 1. Fired.
Alright, go ahead and check for sample ingress.
There's an indentation, but no sample.
Roger that. Proceed to switch the toggle switch and prepare for another crank.
Toggle switch is flipped. Ready to crank.
Okay, we're going to go one more time on that center rock and then possibly move to the right rock.
Roger that. Beginning cranking. I feel substantial resistance.
Go ahead and correct the sample box. There you go. Press the tool against the face as you did last time. Flip the toggle switch and go ahead this time. If you could try bracing your other hand against the back of the tool as you fire, that may reduce recoil.
Roger that. Toggle switch is flipped. Lifting the trigger guard. Pushing on the back of the tool with the back of my hand. And firing in 3, 2, 1. Again, another indentation, but no sample.
Alright, that rock may be too soft. Do you want to move to the one to your far left? It looks like a conglomerate. That is the one. If you want to go ahead and before you crank this one up, line it up so that your chisel feels like it's right on a shear face or a pebble, and see if you can replicate that position once the tool is cranked. Just trying to get the chisel underneath something, try to shear off a rock or a shear face. Any sort of sharp edge would be great as well.
I think I've found a good angle.
Alright, flip that toggle switch back to the crank position and crank as you wish.
Toggle switch is in the cranked position. Beginning cranking. And I have substantial resistance.
Go ahead and return the handle to the bottom position and flip the switch, prepare for fire.
Switch is flipped.
Right, fire at will.
Firing in 3, 2, 1. Firing, and it feels like the chisel itself. I'm just going to pull back on the tool, and the chisel is stuck in the rock.
Copy. Could we get assistance from another diver, perhaps in dislodging that?
Now, it does look like it chipped the smallest amount off, but I mean, I think it was almost like sand.
Copy that. We can try once more at that rock.
Roger that.
Go ahead and flip that toggle switch back to the crank position and crank as you wish.
Beginning cranking. Alright, substantial force is being met.
Go ahead and flip that toggle switch, remove the trigger safety, and prepare to fire.
Toggle switch is flipped down to before firing.
Video, can you go any lower? Go ahead and fire whenever.
Firing in 3, 2, 1. Fired.
You lodged again?
Nothing has been, nothing chipped off.
Any indentation?
That's a negative.
Gotcha.
There's an indentation, but you know, I can get the video ray over here to point out where it indented. Made a little, see a little indentation in the center right there.
Can we try for the rock on the far right, which has some sharper edges on it?
Yes.
Go ahead and this time, if you could flip the rock 90 degrees clockwise. See if you can't find a sheer edge, almost like a cliff on the rock, and try to basically attack an angle to the cliff, chipping away.
You want me to get that little apex? This little edge right here?
Yeah, either that one or the one on the left side of the rock right now.
Okay.
That way the containment vessel and the chisel are on a straight line.
Roger. I'm flipping the switch back into the crank position. I'm going to begin cranking. Significant resistance. I've got the tool lined up.
See if you can't get it closer to the edge of the rock. Maybe pull off the rock face slightly.
Okay.
Go ahead and fire.
Roger that. Flipping the toggle switch.
Trigger safety as well.
Yep. Firing in 3, 2, 1. Nothing. Let me try that one more time.
Sure. Toggle switch back to the crank position and proceed to crank. Go ahead and reattach that containment vessel when you have time.
Toggle switch is flipped. Trigger guard is up.
Go ahead and brace the back this time as you attack that edge.
Roger that. Firing in 3, 2, 1.
How does it feel when you actually hit the rock? Substantial recoil, resistance? Does it feel like you're getting a solid hit?
Well, that time the chisel didn't even protrude past the little circle. I pressed the trigger, I heard it pop, and I see this. Would you like me to give the trigger one more squeeze?
Roger that. Point the tool as back into the rock and squeeze when ready.
I'm squeezing the trigger. If the video ray can catch a shot.
Go ahead and dry fire the tool. Don't hit it into the rock face. I think it may be caught on the ratchet halfway down.
Okay. And I heard you say it was possibly calling the ratchet halfway down, but what would you like me to do from here?
Fire above the rock. Don't fire into anything.
Okay. I'm squeezing the trigger. And I don't have any resistance on the trigger itself. And I have no chisel protruding past the opening.
Go ahead and re-ratchet. Bring it back under power.
Roger that. Beginning ratcheting. Okay, significant resistance. Flipping the switch.
Go ahead and fire just into the water.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. There goes the chisel.
Alright, we're all good. Proceed with standard crank. We're going to give the rock one more shot.
Roger that. Same rock?
See if you can't get a bigger overhang on that rock. It looks like if you flip it over 180 degrees, there's a pretty big shear face on it. Out there, yep.
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay. So would you like me to almost get it?
If you can come straight vertical, and see if you can't, before actually firing, see if you can't rest that lip of the circle right on the rock with the chisel barely touching that edge.
Barely touching this edge?
The far edge. Or are you if you're going to have to go past vertical, I'd recommend the first edge. It's that edge you just pointed to.
Okay. Beginning cranking. Right here?
Can we get a side view? Yeah, video, can we get a profile view of that? Go ahead and fire.
Roger that. Firing in 3, 2, 1.
Is the handle toggle in the correct position?
It is. It was flipped down to before firing.
Sounds good. Go ahead and remove and check for sample.
So this is as far as the chisel came out on this sample.
Got it. I think it's hitting the rock and then stopping halfway through, and then when you release the trigger, it's relocking the ratcheting mechanism.
Oh, okay.
Can you go ahead and test ratcheting a different way instead of pulling up towards yourself? Go ahead and bring it all the way towards the top of the tool, and then push down, like push away from yourself in a rotating mechanism when you pull it back to stop.
So I'll begin ratcheting from this angle.
I just want to try it ergonomically.
Roger that. So pushing away.
Go ahead and brace against the bottom of the tool with your left hand if you feel that's easier. Is it easier pulling up towards yourself or pushing away?
Yeah, definitely pulling up towards myself.
Got it. All right. If you want to crank up pulling towards yourself, considering that's easier, we could try the white rock to your right for one last hit.
Okay, I've got the white rock in place.
See if you can't find a good notch or shear face. Oh, maybe the back face right there. Yeah.
Okay.
If it's fully cranked, go ahead and switch the toggle, remove the trigger safety, and put the tool into place.
After that, let me see if I can't. Okay, I've got the tool in place. Got the toggle switch down to before firing.
You pull the tool at an angle towards yourself, about 30 degrees further towards yourself.
About right there.
Maybe slightly more. Yeah, that looks good. Go ahead and fire.
Firing in 3, 2, 1. No fire.
All right, go ahead and remove the tool from the rock.
Tool's removed.
Is the chisel deployed at all?
What's that?
Chisel, can you see the chisel out of the front?
No. It is fully seated in the back.
Go ahead and crank it back up and then give it one dry fire, just to make sure there's no tension on that finishing up the test.
Test. You mean just go ahead and pull the trigger?
As long as the toggle is in the correct position, go for it.
Toggle is in before firing. 3, 2, 1. Nothing.
Got it. Appears we have a faulty trigger mechanism. Go ahead and, if you can, see if you can keep the containment vessel over the end of the tool as you bring it to the surface.
Roger that.
Go ahead and engage that trigger safety mechanism too, and go ahead and grab anywhere on the tool body and the foregrip, but avoid the trigger area.
Roger that.
All right, Dive, we're all done. Thanks.
No worries.
Go ahead and translate back to the hatch.
Roger that, TC.